if you were to go through and you look at, say, a guy like Myles Garrett, if you were to look at a guy like, say, like Aaron Donald or Jalen Ramsey, or even I dare say Diggs, you can say to yourself, God, what they are doing individually is directly affecting games, and nobody's doing it better than them. When you go through our usual suspects, Aaron Rodgers, here's a guy who had a horrible outing early on in this year. It had some spotty play here and there, and now people are calling him a liar because he used some very clever wording. But he's not the MVP right now. At one point, they said it was going to be Matthew Stafford and the Rams because, hey, the Rams are winning and Stafford looks great. But let's be honest, he in and of himself is not affecting these games by himself. He needs receivers to catch the ball. He needs protection. He needs run games. Let's be honest about it.
I could win the MVP throwing to Cooper Cup and Robert
I'm
Woods.
just saying, like it's not that case. And when you go to Patrick Mahomes, I mean, would a real Patrick Mahomes please stand up? He's been pretty suspect this season. A lot of things that are occurring is very out of character. He doesn't seem focused, so we can't put him in there. And if we go down the road to Derrick Henry, well, hey, that opportunity is gone. He's hurt. And we don't know when he's going to be back. So that completes that task right there for the running back position. Now let's go on down to the next possible person in Tom Brady. He's had a few games where I've went, why? What? When? Stop it. And ask the same question. When has he stood up? But there are certain defensive players who week in, week out have showed up, showed out, and have made a significant difference in changing the outcome of games with their play. This is a perfect example and a perfect opportunity for the league to be fair, not force it on somebody named Aaron Rodgers or some quarterback, but to give it to the actual best player this year who is affecting change. If they don't do that, then by God, we need to pray for this league because the truth is the MVP this year is somewhere on a defense.
You hear to hear first here, folks. Luke G just said Kevin King is the MVP of the league.
I've never said that. The drugs that you're
No,
taking today, no way.
nobody in the history of any even Packer fan would say Kevin
I
King is the
mean,
MVP.
I will give him this though. He has played a little bit better, but
Yeah, he has
yeah,
played, but
because
he
he's been
doesn't
on the
have. He doesn't
bench.
have. Well, no, he played this week, but
he
he
played.
does.
Yeah,
The thing is, he's a physical corner. He doesn't have the top end speed. Like he has to jam you at the line,
oh,
or
he's Jeff Okuda.
you're gonna get you're going by him. You're going way by him.
Oh, so, so
So
he's Jeff Okuda. I got it. I totally get it. I would probably move him to safety if it was me and see if he can do something there. But that's another story. But
who you going to take out of there? Darnell Savage or Adrian Amos?
listen, you got to start grooming him to do that because it's not going to look good at this point. And when they brought him back, everybody
So,
laughed and stuff. So,
so
but
who's your defensive MVP? Who do you think should be considered for MVP then? Like for me, if we're gonna I'm throwing my hat in the ring on TJ Watt. TJ Watt is unstoppable this year.
you know what's funny? Ironically, that was the guy I was going to say. I said you look at situational football, crunch time. He's in there putting pressure on quarterbacks, disrupting plays, causing turnovers in crucial time. Um, I really think that this year TJ Watt has made quarterbacks see black and yellow the entire time, and so to me, when you have that ability, because I've seen plays where the quarterback is so concerned with him, they're moving in spots that's not even necessarily needed to be moved. Like, where are you going? Sit there. The pocket is clean sometimes, but they're just like, oh, he's there, and they move. And so to me,
They
he
hear
would be
them
my MVP.
footsteps no matter how far away they are.
Yep.
That's the power. That's the power of it. That's why it should be a defensive player. I think the last defensive MVP was Ray Lewis, or I might be wrong on that. I'm drawing a blank. But it's time. It's time that we stop acting as if though it has to be an offensive player. I mean, I know y'all like fantasy football, but let's be honest. Most of these games are being decided by a defense, unless there's some other type of strange phenomenon going on, like insider gambling. But we're going to leave that for another day.
Tori, Tori, I gotta let you have the floor first on this. Do you think the quarterback wins the MVP this year or not?
No, I actually at this point it's up in the air for as to who could win it. Like I don't think there's actually a clear cut person to win it. It doesn't need to be a quarterback. if you were going to put a gun to my head and say, which quarterback do you think is do it? I would throw Stafford out there because he's played the best. I wouldn't even say Aaron. Aaron, since the first week, has thrown 17 touchdowns and 1 interception. So,
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't even say Aaron. It's because Stafford has single-handedly I don't want to say elevated the Rams. He re-elevated the Rams back to where they were a couple of years ago when they were a Super Bowl team. Like, he's got them back to that level where Jared Goff could not sustain that level of play. So if you're going to say you got to pick a quarterback, I would have to pick Stafford. If you're going to say pick anybody in the league, your guess is as good as mine. At that point, I might say if Jamar Chase keeps playing the way he's playing, Jamar Chase could win Rookie of the Year and MVP.
Right. So we've talked about this before, Luke and Tori, and the MVP for the NFL is the best quarterback on the best team in the NFL. Those aren't my words. That's what my eyes tell me year after year after year. And since it's never going to change because it's the best quarterback on the best team, clearly you have to go with the Josh Allens or the Dak Prescotts or somebody like that. I'm never going to put Lamar Jackson's name in MVP because he is complete trash. They are still them boys. They're still the best team in the NFC. We'll talk about that later. Tori, I think Kyler Murray is going to be a bust here in a couple years as well.
That's because he's 5'5".
Exactly. We'll get into that later.
Except if you look at what he's listed at, they're like 5'11".
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
But to further your guys' point, Trayvon Diggs is having the best defensive career or the best defensive season I think ever in NFL history through the first 9 games or through first 10 games of the season.
Like seven interceptions.
Yeah, right. But with that being said,
13?
This year the MVP is going to be somebody that we least expect, and that's going to be from the LA Chargers, Justin Herbert, because he is going to be the best quarterback on the best team, and right now that's going to be the LA Chargers at the end of the season. Sorry, Luke, to burst your bubble. TJ Watt's not going to win it. Trayvon Diggs isn't going to win it. Kevin King's not going to win it. Von Miller's not going to win it. It's going to be a quarterback on the best team. That's going to be Justin Herbert at the end of the day.
And I think it's a shame. I think it's an absolute shame because you have the MVP stands for most valuable player.
I agree with you, Luke. I agree with you. But the NFL tells you it's the best quarterback on the best team.
Well, they did it. They did it one time for Ray Lewis, if I'm not mistaken, and I can't remember.
That's because he literally had a gun held to their head. Like, you want it to end up in the trunk too?
So quick little side note, a little bit of breaking news from the NFL. The NFL has come down on the Green Bay Packers. $300,000 fine